But for our purposes now, list is simply, okay, well, list is a bunch of stuff, okay, and it is enclosed between square brackets. So you can have several things. It's not a scalar. Scalar means just one single value. Okay. List is a list of values, list of scalar values. Okay. List can have multiple types of values in it. Okay. So we'll talk more about lists later on. For now, okay, we want to convert a string and chop up the string and make a list out of it in some way. So methods that convert between a string and some composite data type like list or tuple. Okay. So list and tuple, we'll be talking about that in chapter 3. Okay. Paste objects together to make a string. So you have a list of partial string elements. You want to put them all together into a single string. Okay. And methods operate on or return iterables. Iterables is again, you iterate over. We'll talk more about that later on. So for now, let's look at the functions that will split a string into a list, or you take a list of partial string elements, join them all together into a single scalar. Okay, scalar and list. So join, a dot join concatenates strings from an iterable. Iterable is a kind of a technical term. Iterable simply means list of things. It can be, there are 2, 3 different types of iterables. So you just iterate over each one of them. So list is an iterable because it has inside it, and you want to iterate over the members of the list and join them all together. That's what dot join does. So here we have a list L1. Okay, so we have square brackets. Square brackets indicate that it is a list. Okay, so we have 3 elements in this square bracket in this list. Okay, 58, James, and Smith. Okay, now we say join L1, and then before that dot, you need to specify how do you paste the two together. When you put one element and the next element together, how do you join them? Do you want to put anything in between? Okay, so I have a space here. So it's going to take the first element, put a space, and then join the second element, put a space, and then join the third element. So it's going to iterate over each of these elements. Okay, iterate over each element, and it will do this. Okay. So we have L1, and we have join L1 with a space. Okay. Suppose we do this. Let's see what happens here. So now I say nothing, so it joins without anything. Okay. Let me see what happens if you simply say join. Okay, it gives you an error. Join is not defined. So let's see whether dot join works. No. So you have to specify something. Okay. So now say P. So it's going to the mortar that goes in between the elements to join. Okay, is that P. Okay. Now if you specify a space, then a space is put. Okay. So that's our join. It takes a iterable. Okay. Iterable is a list of tuple. Tuple we'll talk about later on. Okay, list of items, and then it just joins them together. Okay, I wonder what happens if you have a mixed type. So first is an integer, and then a string and a string. So what will happen if we do that? So it gives you an error. Okay. So it has to be all strings. Okay. So for join to work, each element must be a string, and then it joins them together. Okay. Now partition divides a string based on a separator, okay, and then returns a 3-part tuple consisting of the portion of the string preceding the separator. I don't know why it's, and then the portion of the string succeeding the separator. So there is, this thing didn't, okay, I guess I need 2 of these. Yeah. So that's what it was needed. Okay, I don't know why. It puts a, if we don't have a, oh, I'll have to look at that sometimes. So we have to provide a separator. Okay, so we have S11, so here's a telephone number, and you want to separate out the area code and the 3-digit whatever, and then the 4-digit. Okay, so here partition is what you use. Partition is going to look for the very first occurrence of the separator, and then so the portion of the string that preceding the first occurrence of the separator, then you have the separator itself, and then the rest of it. So that's what you have here. So you have 4 2 3, the separator, and then the rest of it. Okay. So that's partition. Partition starts from the left and it goes from left to right. And then we have OR partition. So that goes from the right this way. And again, the very first occurrence of the separator, so up to the very first occurrence of the separator itself, and the balance. So that's what you see here. OR partition. Okay. Now OR partition looks for only one occurrence of the separator. Okay. If you have multiple occurrences of the separator, only the first one will be used, right? If it is just partition left to right, or partition right to left. Now split, on the other hand, okay, you have OR split, and then we have split. We have L split. Okay, so OR split splits the string into list of substrings. White space is used if separator is not specified. Okay, so you don't have to specify a separator. If you don't specify a separator, then white space is used. Splits the string into substrings delimited by any sequence of white space and returns the substring as a list. And max split -1 will be from right. Okay. So here, so we have a split which is the tab. So this is the tab tag. Okay, sometimes when you download data from a website, you may have tags like that. Okay, if you have tabbed information, you will have just /t. Obviously, you don't want that /t hanging around when you're analyzing data. So you want to split the tabs into separate values. So here we have OR split, okay, and then we specify what the separator is, okay, and then you can leave this max split off. Okay, if you don't specify max split, I think it will do all of it, if I remember right. Let's try that. Okay. I'm going to comment out that part. Okay. All right. So, okay, if you ignore that, if you don't specify anything other than the separator, okay, so it's going to separate using that as a separator all occurrences, and it gives back a list. Remember, it is split into 3 parts, and then you get a list of those 3. On the other hand, if you say max split equal to 1, so you'll only split 1 time. And R split starts from the right. So because you see this, that part is 1 and the rest is there. Split does the same as R split. It's counted from the left. Okay. Split starts from the left. R split starts from the right. Okay. And max split gives you how many splits you want to use if you don't specify everything. And you can also use max split equal to -1, I think. Okay, max split -1 means all splits, otherwise specified from the right. Okay, so R split, if you specify a -1 there, so or you can leave it altogether. If you don't specify max split at all, then also it will give you the, okay. So split and R split. So we have partition or partition, split or split. So these are ways of splitting, and what comes back to you is a list. Okay. And then you may then access a particular element in that list, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, split line is okay. If you have a text that's multi-line, sometimes when you have text analytics, okay, when you extract user comments from a website, okay, and you want to do a text analytics modeling, there may be these characters, \n. \n, remember, is next line. So if you have multiple next line, so you want to remove all the next lines, so like that /n. Then you say split lines, so each line will be an element. So line 1, line 2, line 3, and these are in separate lines. Okay. Yes, 13. Okay. We already did this, isn't it? Okay, I think this is a typo. Question 13. We've already done that. So 14. Following, so we have X is that following consists population data from 2015 to 2010 2015, separated by /t, split them to these years, right? So we can, how do you do that? So X list equal to X split what? okay, \t. Okay, I didn't run this. And X list. So it did that part first, and then the next one, which is that, and then the next one. So remember, all of these, when you see the quotation mark, you know that these are all strings. So if you want the population to be numeric, then you have to do further cleaning. You have to remove these commas, and then only you can convert this into a numeric value. Okay, separate the following text message into a list of sentences in each message. I don't know what that R is supposed to be. So split line is what you have to use. So S1 and S2. Okay, so S1 split lines. Okay, so we have that and that and that, and you do the same thing with S2 split lines.